Test. Okay, seems to work. Everything is fine. Just move this a little. One more. Test, test. Hello everyone. I can't actually believe that I managed to do this on the first try this time. Making my drink. So yeah, tonight I'm gonna have a very calm and chill stream. The main purpose actually of this channel, or Twitch channel, was to essentially work and listen to music and perhaps introduce someone else to a very fun time of developing or programming, which I believe is very not fun, especially when it's not done with good intentions, especially if you don't have your code in a very tidy way, or you have the unfortunate situation where you actually have to use someone else's code, which is the worst because you have to actually, you know, learn how their code works, complain about the stuff they didn't do, naming conventions and all that. Oh well, let's just jump into it. So yeah, I'm literally at the beginning of actually making games, so I'm gonna be talking much less than my other streams. I'm just gonna, you know, actually maybe I'm not gonna talk less. I don't know, I can't say. All I know is that I'm just gonna, you know, just program. Maybe even just, you know, chill into the night. Okay, where did I end last time? It's a game object, but no level. That's what I wanted. Audio 3D, yeah, that's no longer accepted. So yeah, I could explain what this all is about, but it will be very long. The point is, I'm trying to build a very, very simple prototype right now. I can actually show you what I have now. Well, it's not going to be that good because you're not going to see the actual action of it. Maybe you are, if I'm quick enough. Oh, it's complaining. Also, I do have an error there. What's the problem? Ooh. Call stack, update. It went there. So it's a scene manager. It tried to update. Audio 3D. Oh, it tried to. No, it went into the state machine. It did update. To do the update, it has to go to the update section. Check current state. That's the problem, right? Current state was null pointer. Yeah. Okay, I know what the issue is. So if this is null. Yeah, we can't check the current state if it's null. So I'm just gonna add a little beautiful line of. Sorry, I have to switch my keyboard. It's so annoying because I have to switch between keyboards often, so I tend to have different characters, and the layout is just whack. Loader is not equal. No. Actually, I don't even have to really specify that it's null. I can just be if not loader. That is to say, if it's not existing. Loader. For those of you who know actually programming, you should recognize some syntactic, perhaps a bit more structural reasoning, if you include that into your thinking, then you should realize this is C++, or at least some sort of a C clone. Well, I mean, not C clone, but like some derivative of a C-based code. Okay, let's restart. And it will not check. It doesn't actually have to check. Why did the music repeat itself there? Well, it did check, but why? Autos, current state is null, yeah. Okay, current state update, it cannot actually do that. This is C manager, I should probably... This is not good on my part. Yeah, I'm starting without... Am I not setting up anything in the beginning? No, I'm using the loader state. Yeah, I'm right. So I'm just gonna add some beautiful error checks there, because that's the easiest way to fix the code instead of actually changing the logic of it. So if not loader, wait, I actually might have made a mistake there as well. Oof, that's not good. Making a mistake. No, we're not thinking about loader. We're thinking about current state, right? Of course. Current state key is not undefined. That is not the correct way to ask. If there is loader is fine. If there is no loader, it's fine. I just cannot have a empty current state. And frankly, I should not have it empty here as well. So you know what? No, it's gonna be an else here, and I'm gonna ask another if up there. Maybe it's not as nice, but at least my ifs aren't as bloated. Because I don't need to ask the same question twice, I can just skip it. So if current state... No. Yeah. So this is the condition. I'm just gonna beautifully copy this and just add it here. In basic C, I'm not sure actually, but in C++, there's a convention that if it's only one line after an if, you don't need to add those weird curly brackets. But for clarity, I like to put them in. Because, especially later when I'm reading my code, it's much easier, and it automatically adds the indentation. I just like it this way. It takes it does take more lines, but it's actually much better in my opinion, because I can clearly see that, oh, this belongs here. Like, especially if I have more code, and only one line out of all of that is supposedly only under the if statement, then having that after it and then just a bunch of code after without the curly brackets is gonna make it very unclear if it actually belongs there. It's not good, I think, at least in my opinion. My humble, actually not so much humble, but my unprofessional student opinion there, and we need to add that. Yeah, and that therefore I can actually get rid of this condition here in the check current state, because I'm literally checking out there, so that would just be a repeat check, which is unnecessary. Yeah. Save that and restart. Let's see how many times it's gonna complain. And it's complaining. Why? Check current state. Current state is still null, but it cannot get there. Who else is calling this? Let's see, call stack. Where did we get there from? What do we? Audio 3D update, that's the main issue. No, it's state machine update. Did I delete an important line here? Because it worked before. And it's state machine, let's peek. State machine creates a new state machine. Set up loader, so it creates one state at least. Level 1. It does the level, but that's it. Huh? Am I not setting up loading? I swear I did. My phone's acting a bit weird. Ignore. This. Where am I? I set up loader. I did that. Did it not save? No. I even committed the change. Maybe I deleted it? But why would I delete that? Initialize state machine. It goes there, does whatever. State machine. One moment, please. The desktop audio. It's gonna be not capture card, that's 0. This. I'm gonna maybe make myself a bit louder. Yeah, 60% out to do it, just in case. If it's too loud, I might be solved. You're all encouraged to work on something else, actually. You know, it's just work together. Just a group of people working. Initialize state machine, set up loader. I create a level. Yeah, that's beautiful. You know what? I'm just gonna add it here. Actually, that might be a problem. Platform, blah blah blah, does all that. Oh no, state machine, not machine. I've already defined that, so it's gonna. I'm not gonna add it because that will require it to be have it load. Wait, what? Scene manager, please. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Set current state. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to call this. Set current state. Pointer to it. What does it do? If a loader is active, yeah, it does it. The loader sets the current state loader, and current state key is undefined. This is an error that I need to fix later. Well, not an error. It's more so unfinished prototype. State machine is a scene manager, so it should be able to call set current state, yes. And you're gonna add level into that. Level, since loader is already set up, that should take care of that. Maybe this fixes it? Maybe I accidentally deleted this line. You would not believe how that happens, how often that happens. So. Okay, it does something. There is sound playing. You can't hear it, it's too quiet. It does something. Okay, I closed it. It does the level. Set current state. It sets it to update. Then it should call update, right? Simply. Scene app. Input manager, yes. State machine, update, yes. Calls update. And it should get stuck in update. Unless something else happens. Let's see. Go in. Update. If current state is not active. It is active now. Wait. It gets into update. This is a bit too peculiar. This. State machine. Current state. Yeah, we want that. Yeah, this is all null. That's fine. Held in memory. Yeah, it should not be held in memory. It's a separate case. Yeah, loader state, thank you. Previous state, nothing. Okay, so this. Next state, thank you. There should be level. And yeah, it has... Yeah, it didn't initialize it. It only has like all of these. Yeah, that's fine. Why does it keep saying it does not? Audio. Update, whatever. Just leave that. Thank you. Restart again, thank you. Go in. Oh, that's why. This is actually the wrong way of thinking about it. It's not. It's I'm so dumb. That's the dumbest thing. And it didn't work because of that. If current state, only if current state. So it obviously wasn't calling it. So I actually added the redundant set there, where it actually sets it in the beginning. Let me get rid of that. Because it worked before without that. I don't want any repetitiveness. Sprite render, setup lights, init emitters, init listen. All of that needs to be deleted. It's just there because... Yeah, that's what I meant when I was talking about like previous code. Set current state level, thank you. Get rid of this. Setup, yeah, setup loader I think does that. Yeah, I have only like one ear. Like headphones only on one ear, so this song sounds very strange. Because it uses the flickering, but like it uses both channels. So I only hear like a kind of a separated tone. It's not that different, but it's still different. Setup loader, please. Speak definition. Yeah, it does new whatever loader. That's it. Yeah, continue. No, actually, no, not continue. Just restart. Oh, it did work now. Okay, whatever. Okay, please do your job. Yeah. So for all of you, just to see what I did is this. Literally this. Well, I'll show exactly what it is doing. I just need to be quick about it because it shows it on the other screen. Oh, it doesn't work now. I'm assuming the state is not set properly. Oh, the application is in break mode. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, I did not set it. So there was a line in the beginning and accidentally deleted it before, I'm assuming. And now I put it there back again, which worked, and now it doesn't work again because I got rid of it. C programming is just trial and error in a lot of ways. Will this work? Yeah, look, see? This is all it does. Just a ball falling on the platform. That's literally it for now. So what the game is supposed to actually be about is that the ball is going to be like a balloon that is going to fall, albeit much slower. Actually, is it going to float up? I haven't decided yet. One of the two. And it's going to be like a maze. It has to be only a 2D game. That's the limitation of what we're working with. It's the API for those less... Not educated, that sounds terrible. Those who don't do programming this directly. It's basically limited to 2D only because of the API, which is a collection of code that we're using. The physics engine mostly is coded to work only in 2D. Like it does show 3D materials, whatnot, but it only calculates stuff in 2D. I could theoretically get away with like adding just more physics engines and then therefore create a sort of a 3D world, but that would be too much. Like too much overlay for a very little effect. So yeah, and the point is, I haven't decided. I actually want to have it touch-based, but I might just do a controller, or both actually. And it's going to be like a maze, where there's going to be spikes around the walls and all that. You cannot touch those. And your touch is going to be like a little fan. And whenever you press the fan, the ball is going to, depends on how far you touch, it's gonna affect the ball in a way that it pushes it away from the fan naturally because you're blowing the wind there, right? And so you have to go to the end. You might have played this game actually because it's not an original idea, and I'm willing to admit it. This is an assessment course. It's based on a very old Flash game from the Trome. If you know that website, you're one of the kind of people who I'm really probably deeply connected with, considering that was my entire console-less childhood, especially at my dad's work, where he had like a computer. Oh my god, Nitrome, they're a British-based company. And they're still active today, but with Flash being, you know, taken down, it actually doesn't really work well anymore. But that was the shit. That was the shit. Nitrome, they had like great games. One of them was called Hot Air Balloon. No, Hot Air only actually. And that was that. It's literally that. It was very fun. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Sadly, I can't play it anymore because... Actually, is there... No, I'll get distracted, but I might later check and maybe do another stream of just Nitrome games. Or like an old nostalgia trip based on old Flash games, if there's like a browser that supports it. Like a legacy thing. Because all those games are just gonna get lost the other way. Anyway, back to this. So it does fall. The problem now actually is that... So I'm going to show it again so I can actually explain it, because I need to explain it so I can actually think about how I'm going to solve that. So the problem is, you might actually see this as a ball and this as a rectangle, right? But the way games actually calculate collision, it's much simpler than ball, because ball has so many points and all that. It would be waste of resources to actually calculate all of that if you don't need it. So in this case, pretend this ball is really a square. So it acts as a square, so now it falls and there's like the entire face down here and it acts like it's falling, right? So there is no possible way, unless I add a force from this or from any side to it, that it'll actually topple over, even though it is, you think of it as a ball, but it's really a cube, right? It's not square, cube. But a cube that can only rotate in like this way from my perspective. So what I actually want to see is whether I can make this ball behave like an actual ball, which is to say whether it can actually roll left to right. It should not be difficult unless they didn't define it. In that case, it's actually going to be a bit more annoying. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, the sound is going to be annoying. You can't hear it, but it's annoying. Where did I do? Where is it defined? Oh yeah, it's in level, right? Because it's a level thing. Yeah, this is literally just at the beginning. Later on you would have this like much more simplified and generalized. Now I'm just doing this. Set up physics. Yeah, I want to go there. Actually, no, just go to definition, thank you. It's gonna show in this window. See, it's set up as a box, and what I'm gonna add is, since this is a class, it's basically a generalized way of saying create something. So based on what you input, so you have to say... Actually, why am I explaining this? Most people who actually click on this video are probably programmers themselves. And if you're not, this is basically programmed. So I'm gonna just explain it in my head. Anyway, you input some data in, and part of the data is telling it what shape it needs to take in the physics world. And right now I think it's phys shape. Yeah, it's rigid body type, because rigid body is what acts. So I only have, programming wise, I actually defined here, so you can input sphere, it just won't do anything because it's not in. I'm gonna see whether it actually allows me to do it. So it's gonna be dynamic box. Yeah, because that's what calls these functions. I don't even remember most of them, what they actually do, because I programmed them individually much earlier, so now I'm just using them. Set as a only box. Oh no. Sphere, does it allow sphere? Now is the real question. I have two options. One is this. I'm actually gonna look into what this offers. Thank you. No. It's polygon shape, thank you. I wanna go into you. I wanna see what you give. BVEC points. What are they? Oh, okay, it's 2D shapes. except the cube. Okay, so I could make it a sphere, a circle, right? So a polygonal shape. If I make a radius, polygon radius, m count. Okay, I can just do this, but then it just takes these values. Let's validate mass data. Compute AABB, that's for collision. Compute mass, yeah, it takes density and gets mass. Test point. Do not hit because of normal defined. Build vertices to represent it as oriented box. Set as a box. That's that. It's not really a box, it's more like a square in this case, because it's 2D. Set. Create a convex hull from the given array of local points. Must be in range 3 to max polygon vertices. So yeah, there needs to be at least 3 points. So it needs to at least be a triangle. Okay. Get child count. Ooh, I don't even want to think about children anymore. Not yet, at least. We will need that, but not now. So I can set it using a sphere. So I need to predefine. Can I edit this? What is this? Is this? Oh no, this is box 2. I should not edit the API. I could probably add like a make a sphere or something, but it's not worth it, is it? I can add it in the code itself, right? So it's gonna be game 3D object. Oh my god, what did I do here? No, it doesn't support sphere. Not yet, at least. So I'm gonna make a new function for it. Game object. It's gonna be private. It actually doesn't necessarily matter whether it's private or not, because it only outputs stuff. So it's gonna output our... What is it gonna output? It's gonna give an array. An array are a bit wonky, aren't they? What does set require? Dynamic box. Set. Just set. What do you want as set? No, thank you. No, thank you. Yes. What do you want? Yeah, you want an array of points and count, which is the number of points, I believe. Okay, so count is gonna be a thing that we want. It's an array. And it cannot be dynamic as well. I can make a top cap, right? I mean, honestly, how defined does a circle need to be? I would say for collision purposes, we don't really need a very defined sphere, right? We only need... But this music really fits the night. I always loved it. It's like a night theme for me. Actually, let me do one more check on the audio quality, because frankly, I'm always afraid that something's just not working properly. And that would be absolutely unacceptable. This is a high quality endeavor. Yeah, I turned off the music for this, didn't I? Just so it's not annoying. Wait, I can hear something, so at least that's positive. Yeah. Yeah, this seems to work properly. At least that's good. Okay, take away. Disable the sound. I don't want to hear myself. I'm actually not even sure whether I can mention the name of the evil thing happening in the world. I did check some of the TOS, but it doesn't say, but I know advertisers hate it. Not that I have any, but I don't want to get banned from Twitch in my beginning. Oh, actually, no, this is not the correct input. This is the correct one. Anyway, back to this. Not 3D, it's gonna be here. So it's gonna return a pointer. My max cap is probably going to be 12. Fine, it's 12. It's an array of B2 vector 2s. Vector 2 pointer, because it's an array. Vec2. We're gonna call it make polygon. It's probably way more advanced for what I actually need, but I like to do stuff like this because later I might actually need it. So it's gonna be int edges. That's gonna define the edges, not edges, but edges. Thank you. It's local, right? And I believe radius is going to be important. Radius. Radius. Thank you. And it's also going, not int, this is going to be a float. And this is, I love functions like these because they are purely mathematical. I don't need to think about how to actually do it because I have a vague idea. I don't remember the exact formula for this. I think it's sine, cos, something. It's 2D, so... Oh yes, it's very easy actually. Because I start at 0 and then just increment. And then it grades. So, fine. That's nice. We're gonna have a B2 vector 2 array of 12 called out. It's gonna be where I'm gonna put the results. A 2D column vector. Yeah, that's fine. What do you complain about? Local variable not initialized. Oh my god, how do you initialize these? Does it have to be a thing where you cannot just, you know... Can you make an array out of these? Big definition. Do they allow... Yeah, it does allow empty constructor, so I should not complain there. Go to. Okay, I'm here now. Oh yeah, this is not how you define things here. Let me add it here. 12. Okay. A nice if to capture values larger than 12. So if edges is larger than 12, I'm gonna put it in single line because I like to live on the edge. Which equals not e minus, no, equals 12. But it basically just captures values larger than 12. Because I might forget later on. And it's easier to do it this way than keep in mind that it's 12. It isn't you might think it's an unnecessary thing to just keep in mind and write a comment, but I like to comment at the end because I hate commenting. Age is 12. Now, this is going to be a for loop. So I'm going to write an angle. Oh yeah, I need an angle float. And current angle, so it's going to be temp angle is equals 0. We're starting at 0. Oh, beautiful. There's actually a beautiful function that, yeah, is here, dec to rad, which basically means degrees to radians. And I'm not sure whether computer doesn't take... Oh, it does take radians. There's the other way around as well. I could just put it there. Anyway. So if you think about sine and cosine, it actually makes it simple because I can actually show you what I mean. If you know unit circle, you'll be very pleased with this information. How to make a vectorized circle equation, which is to say that you give it one data point and it gives you two points on an array. So it's unit, and now we add the magic word circle. And you're gonna see this, which is a very easy mathematical construct, equation-wise, This is what I want. No, it's not. I need a background this time. So this circle essentially says that, let me actually enlarge it. Open image in new tab. Thank you. And we're gonna zoom in. Yeah. This essentially says that for this point, its x and y coordinate relative to the center point, and that's an important keyword, relative to the center point, are basically cosine and sine. It stems for how the actual functions are defined. So, and a tan is this. It's just the actual tangent to the circle at that point. And tangent, you might know, is the difference of y over the difference of x, or or basically, if I were to step from this point here to this point here, how much that would change, right? So the difference of y, since sine is y in this case and cosine is x, difference of y over difference of x, it basically means that tan is sine over cosine. And that's how why it's defined this way. If you didn't realize, maybe you did it. This is really, this like maybe high school, maybe even earlier than that, like early high school material. Anyway, what this means, so now it's 1, right? But if you remember, I've added a radius. Sorry, I've added a radius value there, which means how far from the center that point will be. And that might complicate things, right? Well, not really, because you can just multiply the result. Because you know that it's going to be 1. If you do magnitude of that vector, it's always going to be 1. It's Pythagorean theorem, because the unit circle is literally defined this way. So if you did Pythagorean theorem on cosine of the same angle as sine of the same angle, without anything else, you'll get 1. This is also the reason why cosine squared and sine squared equals 1, because 1 squared is 1. So Pythagorean theorem right there. Math just works, it's beautiful. It connects everything. This thing, this unit circle, this thing is the most important thing in trigonometry. And if you realize how this works, it saves you a shit ton of work. Because for example, let's say I want this point, right? That's on the same y-axis. Y point is the same, x is just negative of this value, right? That is to say that the angle from here to here actually has the same sine value as this point, as this angle. So there's a rule, and basically if you do 180 minus this angle, the resulting angle has the same sine value as this. And the cosine of that value is the negative of it. Magic stuff like that. And it helps you realize. So you only really need to remember like few magical numbers here. I personally memorized, and that's not even the correct word, like 6 angles. And that essentially gives me a rough idea around the entire circle what the values for sine and cosine are. And tan you can just easily calculate because it's 1 over the other. Not that you would need that, but actually it is necessary in many cases, but now it's fine. Anyway, this is what I wanted to say. So basically for x, for a vectorized function, it's that. So here, all I really have to do is do so basically x of the vector, so let's say a random vector, so x is really equal to cosine of my magical vector. So cosine is a separate defined function, so it's going to be temp angle because that's the angle from the start. That's x, right? And y is equal to sine of that angle. Temp angle. Yeah, this is one of those things that kids usually say, oh, when am I going to use this, right? Well, if you do programming, and especially stuff where you need angles, then, or anything that's really like making shapes, then you will use this. What did I want? Yeah. Oh my god, I keep forgetting. Yeah, so now these two are separate, but the problem is we need to keep adding the angles, right? So it's going to be, there's 12 points at most, but we don't know how many edges really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another variable called, not repetitions, I'm going to, how am I going to call this? I don't want that calculation to be done every frame or every time it actually does it. So I'm going to call it, actually, no, edges works fine. No, edges is literally that. Why am I even thinking to... No, it's not the edges. I'm thinking of the angle. So temporary angle is the current angle. And we're going to make another float We're gonna call that delta. In physics, delta is used for the instead of the word difference. So I'm just used for that. Maybe in maths as well. I'm not sure actually there. So it's gonna be 360 degrees. That's the entire circle, divided by the number of edges, which is not 12, it's edges, because we don't know how many. But that gives us the little angle that we need to add to the origin to make every point on the sphere. Anyway, yeah, doing that. For loop, which is used for repeating things. int equals 0. Equals 0. Not L. Until while you will do this while I is less than. What is I going to be? Edges. So it's going to be edges. Yeah, because the 12th edge is basically the 0th edge. It's mathematical. It's the index of -1 anyway. Well, I mean, it takes away from 1, so you're going from 0 to 11 instead of 1 to 12. There's still the same number of points, but it just moved away. And every time you're going to increase I by 1. Beautiful. What's next? We actually need to multiply this as well. And radius multiplied. Like that. Radius multiplied. So that's ha. Fine. Now we have this beautiful vector here, so it's going to be out. I. That basically says fill it in a specific spot of the array. I. Dot. Actually, no, that's incorrect. Yeah. There. It's actually a bit annoying. Dot. And we're gonna have x. This is a function. No, it's not a function, it's a value. And it's a float value, no less. Anyway, it's going to be that. So it's going to be radius cosine temp angle. But the temp angle is actually going to be... We don't actually need temporary angle. That's actually useless. So it's going to be delta angle. Delta angle multiplied with I. Yeah, that makes sense. So if it's 0, it'll be 0. It starts at 0. Yeah, this works. Radius cosine 0. Okay, sorry, there was a little interruption there. It was basically another thing I'm working on, and there was like a thing that happened and I need to fix it quickly. Anyway, we're done with that. Back to this. So alt X radius, that's fine. And also Y. And yeah, I love mispressing things. There is gonna be Y. And the magic word here is gonna be sign. Not din. Yeah, and that should give me an array of edges. And return, and you will return the first. And you will return the first out of those. So it's going to be returning out. So basically what happens is it doesn't actually return the entire array. It returns the pointer, which is something that essentially tells it where it's stored in memory, in hardware, I mean. So it's gonna give it out only the first element, but since it's an array, arrays work in a way that essentially tells it that all of these elements are gonna be stored literally next to each other in memory. So I, as a smart person, and that's not really nice, but I as a smart person, I mean, it's not really nice programming wise, there are better ways of doing it, but I just did it this way because it's the easiest and quickest. But basically I need to remember how many edges there are, so it actually will be stored. Let's say I see 7, right? So from that pointer, 7 spaces in memory are going to be part of that array. That's going to be the way it is, unless it actually gets destroyed, which I didn't think of. I actually did not think of that. That's going to be an issue because it's going to delete all of that data once it leaves the function. Oof, that's a problem. Well, easily fixable one, that is. B2 vector 2 pointer, and this is going to be points, let's call it whatever. So what I'm essentially doing is, because in programming you have something called scope, which is to say if you create a variable in this function, in these curly brackets, once you leave them, that thing will be deallocated, or in other words deleted. But I want to keep, and I'm returning it out, but I'm only returning a pointer to it. And a problem is that a problem? You know what, I'm not gonna risk it. Maybe it's not a problem. I'm too tired of actually going through and look through it. The point is, it gets destroyed. So what I need to do is put it in, because it's going to be then in another scope. This is going to be a subscope, so to speak. And even after we leave that, it's not going to delete it. That's the main reason I'm doing this. Now it's complaining because I've introduced a new variable that I didn't say here. I'm going to ask here. So it's going to be b2 vec2 pointer. And I might actually not even need to return a pointer here because of that. Honestly, I'm not going to return the points out. I'm gonna just make it void. Void says that this function has no output. It just does stuff. It just says set of lines. And I need to say it here as well. Void. I just need to remember that I need an input for it. Anyway, this is no longer necessary. It's still going to be a limit of 12. So that's good. It's not going to be out, it's going to be points, and it's not complaining, which is good, but it is really, it's really more saying that you need to keep in mind that it's out. So it doesn't really, any errors can arise from this because the code is not taking care of it, or the compiler or whatever. So it actually is on me as a programmer to keep in check whether I'm not going out of the bounds of the array. But it should not be difficult because I'm setting that 12 rule here, and I'll set the array. Arrays need to be fixed size anyway, so I'm just gonna set it up there. Game object. Yeah, so it's 12 there, and since we're making a function anyway, but it's in game object 3d.age. Is it here? Update. It creates the points, right? And now we needed to go into the physics set physics. That's what I wanted. Rotate with physics, apply physics, game object, do job. Make polygon, that's fine. Setup physics, what was that? I think it was game object 3D. Oh my goodness, yeah, this is one big problem in my code now. It's too bloated. And I have no desire. Oh no, it's fine. I can use these jump points. Setup physics, fine. So we're gonna just do a lot of spaces here because we're gonna add later stuff to it. So we're going to create the array here, b2 vec2 array of points. So we're gonna call this points. And it's going to be size of 12. That's fixed. So nothing later in the code can actually change this. That's fine. Make polygon. And this is where we're going to put stuff in. So it's going to be points. So that's pretty much a given. It's points. An array. Edges. I think 12 is fine. And radius is going to be the size of the sphere, and that's going to be width. So width in this, so in this function I need to remember that height is not going to affect the circle at all. I can have another arbitrary rule if I want, but it's fine this way. So that's going to make the polygon for us. And then we are going to do the dynamic box dot set, and we're going to do points, which is now made up out of polygon. I might later on add a this is, what does this want? What does points want as an input? Oh, count as well. Count is 12. Yeah, I need to fix, not necessarily need to fix it, but it would be nice to change it. This, oh no, it's int, it's fine. It is an integer already. I was smart enough to do it at first. Basically, since it's the number of squares or memory points, it cannot be a decimal number. So it's much better to just save it as an integer, which says, well, it's an integer. So I don't store as much data. It's really redundant. It doesn't matter as much. And it's just, I guess, nice coding there. So it's going to create that. That's fine. Makes a polygon. However, we don't want to create both the bodies. So we're going to add a switch statement because I've used this rigid body type. So it's going to be switch. And it's going to be switch, not phys shape, yeah. Physical shape is going to be the switch. And we're going to open curly brackets, close curly brackets, make spaces. So, case. So the first case is when phys shape is actually rigid body type is going to be a box. Yeah. And that, basically, I did a switch case because later I might actually decide to add more shapes, like say a triangle for spikes or something. Not that it will be necessary, but I might as well do that. And that's going to make it easy for me to just add one more switch case to it. So I don't have to worry about this. That's actually the best advice I can give in programming, from at least my experience. It's better to predefine things beforehand, so later on you don't even need to go back and look through it, because it's easy enough to use those functions because it makes logical sense. So I don't have to later, let's say I have 1,000 boxes later on, I don't need to specify that set it as a box every time. I'll just do the phys shape box and I know it's going to do it and I don't have to care. And if an error happens with that, I can just fix that one time here instead of fixing it every time. It saves time, it's more manageable, and it actually makes the job easier for me later on especially. So this is going to be still out, because this is independent of the switch. This is going in as a case for box. Box is done. We want the half size of the box, that's fine. So we're going to break out of that switch statement after you finish this. Case, rigid body type is going to be a sphere. Those are not the correct names. It should be circle and square, but oh well, who am I to judge? And it's going to be dynamic box. Actually, no, why am I typing this again? I have it right here, so it's going to be done here. and it's in the scope of this, so it's really good to have it. Yeah, set, does it copy the values? Please tell me it actually copies the values. Yeah, 3 count, and count cannot be max. Poly vertices, which is 8. Oh no! Okay, so it's 8, not 12. Might as well then 8. Do 8. That's fine. It'll be 8. 8 here. Count of 8 here. And in my game object class actually makes those points. See, it's good that I checked. Not make polygon. Actually, yes, make polygon. That's what I'm. Peak is going to be, if it's above 8, a smart person would do this a variable. And then there's me, who just does the magic numbers thing. It's not the best, I'll be honest, to use magic numbers just randomly like this. But I'm never going to change this unless I change the limit the other way. It's not good. I don't like it. But I'm too lazy to actually create another constant, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna have a magic number there. I'm not going to change it. I know that for a fact. But I do not recommend for any programmers to actually do this. It's not good. Never do this, please. Only in airtight cases where you actually know for a fact it's not going to be something else. Some people add a default case, but here you don't need to, because there's literally only two things this can be for now, and later on this cannot be an undefined. You have to give it a value, so I'm not going to do a default case. It's not necessary. So with that being said, that's done. Now it's time for testing. And testing this should actually not be that difficult because all of these are set values, it's not variable. So all I really need to do is find the player definition, which is in level, and change this little box to sphere. And that should give me what I want. Thank you. And that should work the way it should. So now we're gonna see, it might not roll. We'll see how that'll work out for us. Oh, syntax is wrong. B2 vector points was the wrong. Identifier is not correct, but it no. Oh, I see. B2 vector. Is it a class? Yes, it is a class. Class B2 vector. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I need to tell I'm giving it the dummy class. If I need some includes later, so it's here, and then I'm including these files in the CPP file that actually has this, so it should work fine. And that's why I was complaining it's not defined, because it wasn't. Now it is. Will you work? Fingers crossed. Ready? Oh, it does work. Beautiful. Oh! A bit too big, I'll be honest. It's basically twice the size, because I didn't halve it. But yeah, it's now, as you can see, is the diameter away from this. That's what gives me the clue. And it bounces off, which is what I wanted. I wanted the bounciness. Bounciness is important. Because it's a balloon, right? It's going to be like a balloon, so it needs to bounce off the walls. That's going to be the gameplay mechanic there. That's an actually easy fix, because I should have expected this. I'm weirded out why I didn't. I just need to divide this by 2. See, this is another magic number, but this one's fine. Because it's in conjunction with this. This is basically, I would call it the conversion value. We just convert it to proper scale. So yeah, we're gonna do it again. Will it work? It needs to. Please do. See? It does. It's flying into infinity. Why does it stop? I'm confused now. I would need some sort of, but the ball itself is supposed to be the visualization. Did this not play already? Let me see. No, this is a different one. I was talking about the song. I thought it's Detective Gumshoe, but it's Marvin Grossberg, which is a different tune. Dumb characters, both of them, but still good. As in dumb in a good way, I mean. Okay, this works. The beginning works. It does do what it's supposed to. It just stops it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Let this run. That's going to be fine. I need to find a proper place to stop it, and it's going to be update. Stop it and update. So I need to see the values. If they match, they should not. So for now, we have a player. Mesh is it mesh? No, it's game object. Mesh object has the collider. No, collider is fine. Control input, fizz body. Yes, open that up. Thank you. I need to see your transform. Where is the transform? Is there the transform? There should be transform. Oh, linear and angular damping. I can play around with this. Gravity scale. Ooh, I can change the gravity scale. That's actually good. Because the gravity now is a bit too high/low. Ooh, actually, yeah, it's too low. I only set it to 1 as a sort of an edge thing. I need to make that 9.8 to have the real world physics. Because in real world, it's acceleration of 9.8. The world is being set up here. See, it's right there. Minus, because it's going downwards, 9.8. F, because it's a float, just in case. Now, maybe this actually fixes it. Let's see if this actually fixes it. Will this fix my problem? Anyone looking? I'm actually very much... Wait. Oh yeah, it's... of course, it stopped. There. It stops it after some time, for some reason. I'm not sure why. As if it does not do fizz engine anymore. But it worked fine before. It jumps off semi-properly. I don't know why it actually stays down. See, it bounces off, but then kind of doesn't continue. The ball is obviously not at the correct place, so I shouldn't... No, anyway, fizz engine. We fixed the gravity, but that's not the main cause of the issue. So, player again. Game object, because that has the fizz body, which is the one I want. World. No. Next is nothing. Fine. Fixture list. Fixture list. Oh, it's a fixture that I need to care actually about. Yep. Fixture list. Density is 0.8. That's what I defined. Friction. Nothing. Restitution. I might actually need to say that. Change that. It's basically when you bounce off and how much of that is gone. In the perfect world, it stays bouncing forever, right? But in this case, it's supposed to get rid of some stuff. Oh, wait. It bounces off. What happens if I set this? No, it doesn't change anything now. I'm curious. Because maybe the way the physics works is that it bounces it off at the beginning, right? Let me... Actually, no, first I'm gonna check the position of that ball. If it's at the same position as where it started, as in the same Y position, I have an idea as to why that might be happening. Force now is 0 for some reason, and it shouldn't be 0. It should be... Linear velocity is 0 as well, yeah. It should be negative something. It bounces off, goes up, 0, so it doesn't continue working. Why not? World is fine. Fixture list. Filter. User data. What does it do? There is a pointer there. I'm not sure what it... Oh, yeah, it's supposed to point to the actual object, but I do it the other way, so it's fine. Mass is fine. User data. This is the transform data. Transform data says it's at 1, 1. It started at 2, 1. Okay. So it's now at 1, 1. Actually, no, it's not. There's some weird... No, position is this. But it's... Oh. It says negative. Why does it say negative? The position of this is clearly not negative. Oh, that's my positional transform. But I might want to see the actual mesh instance transform. Yep, that one's different. Somehow it made itself a bit different. Oh no, this is just another nonsense. So this is rotation as well. So there's some weird... Third of that is 3. Third of this is 1, so it's 4, 0.4 maybe-ish. Actually, that's not the correct way of thinking about it now, is it? Yeah, I can't figure it out from this. But I can spawn a checker. I'm just surprised as to why the rest... Maybe I need to set the restitution to something? I'm not sure there. Level... Let's see, maybe that'll work. Coefficient of restitution. It's 0, so it kind of... It does bounce off, so it's correct. In a sense that it starts correct, and then before the first bounce it's fine. It actually follows through to the second bounce, so to speak. Now the issue is actually something else. It doesn't go down. Why doesn't it go down? Really? In programming, this is actually called rubber duck debugging, where you actually talk about the problem and then go slowly each point and then you figure it out. So that's why I'm talking about this in such a redundant way. Mesh? No, it's not mesh. Actually, set transform. That's what I want. No, that's not correct. We want fizz body. So get body, get mesh from scene, get type, get transform, get body. Thank you. We get the body. Out of that, we want to get linear velocity. No. Get position. No. Set angular velocity. No. Set linear velocity. No. Gravity scale. Later. Set transform. Linear. Bullet. Bullet is fast, right? Is this body treated like a bullet for continuous collision detection? Is enabled. Is fixed rotation? No, it's not. Get world vector. I might actually need to put a texture on the ball. I'm not... I will probably import my own model. That's besides the point currently. Okay, I'm gonna set stuff. Set... You know, restitution. Restitution... Angular damping, maybe. That's it? Is that it? What's angular damping? Angular damping. I'm gonna search here. Restitution. Create fixture. Fixture definition if you need to set parameters. Create fixture. Oof. I need to get a fixture out of that. Is it only a one-time thing? Or can I change it? Angular. Gravity. Enabled. Bullet. fixed rotation awake allows you angular damping. Linear damping. What's a linear damping? Linear velocity. It's as if it doesn't do it anymore, but it does, clearly. Gravity scale is fine. I know I'm creating a fixture somewhere. Can I set fixture? It's in the function itself, right? So set up body. Set up physics, yeah, this is what I want. Body def body. Fixture, here it is. Fixture definition. Create fixture. So fixture underscore def dot, and now we can set up stuff. Restitution going to be 1.0f. That means it should come back with all the force and then continue doing that. Maybe. I'm gonna see if that works. This makes every object have that restitution, but that's gonna be dealt with later on. Okay, yeah, angular damping. This is clearly not the correct line. Goodbye. Okay. Will it work? Okay, yeah. This needs to go away. Thank you. Okay, it somehow bounces. No, it bounces. I get the issue now. Somehow. Oh yes, I know the issue. So the physics body. And I can see why. So basically, the camera is supposed to follow the transform, but the transform with the rotation isn't correct. Yes. It's kind of hard to explain what the issue is. But the physics is working properly now. That's what I wanted mainly. So the camera is set up, and that's actually what gave me the clue. So, let me see whether I can explain the issue, and while explaining I'm gonna actually figure out how to fix it. So, the camera is set up to follow a specific point. That point is given by the position of the ball. And the ball's position is being set by the physics rigid object, which gets its position from the calculations. So basically it's going, the calculation moves the physics body somewhere according to physics. So if it's colliding, it moves it up, doesn't matter. That value gets taken away and it's put into the representative shape, which is in this case a sphere. So that's the game object. So those are two separate positions, but they're supposed to be linked all the time. Now that's working because the camera is following that ball, and the camera follows the fake sphere, not the physics shape. So since the camera was bumping as the ball would, that means the camera is therefore logically following the physics object, which is to say the transforms are being moved properly. Now the actual object is being drawn incorrectly. So the ball's position data-wise is correct, but render-wise is incorrect. That means that between render and the position, there is something that changes it. And I know that for a fact because the positioning for rendering works that you rotate the object, the entire X, Y, Z axis rotates with that object. So say you rotate your pencil, if you have it straight up, you rotate it. Basically, a different way of thinking about it is that forward is relative to the object. So if the object is rotated, its forward is now somewhere else. And forward for that object is always Y-axis for itself. So it moves according to its own forward rather than the global forward. So my positions are set in the global forward system, but the object is being drawn at its own. So the way it rotates as it bounces around, it rotates left to right because that's what the ball does, right? It also rotates its relative forward, and then the render draws it's based on the position of the ball, and the render draws from its local rotation or its own forward based on the global things. So it makes it go around in weird ways, unpredictable ways. So that's why it moves, but it's fixed that. So the problem is where that issue is becoming. Usually that issue is because you're rotating before you're positioning, and that's a problem. Properly, you should do position, rotation, and rotation, position, and scale. No, position, rotation, scale. Because if that happens, then you basically always draw from 0, 0. And somehow I'm doing rotation first. I also know why that is. So the position itself, yeah, the camera's position is, as you can see right here, it's taken from the get transform position. But the rotation is being, but the transform of the actual object is being done much, much, much later. So I need to fix the order of things here. And that would be in-game object. Yep. I knew this could come out, but I didn't think it would happen because you can't really see it clearly when you're programming it. Yeah, see right here, I have rotate no physics. That's fine because this gets called every time anyway. But the problem actually, yeah. So the Z is the only thing that changes, right? Scale, no physics, that's fine. So it modifies that transform. This I should not modify at all. I should modify only, yeah, I'm going to do that. But I'm doing it so nicely here as well. Huh. I'm gonna do, okay, I'm gonna build the transform separately. I'm gonna make a function for it. It's gonna be called void build transform. It's going to be a bit of a longer fix, but it will fix the issue, I think. And that's the keyword, I think. So you will create a new function. By the way, don't worry about why my computer is set in French. And oh, this should be in English now. It used to be in French. Yeah, now it's English. It used to be in French. Well, at least down here it's French. Well, you can see that. I don't even know why I brought that up, if you can't see it. Life's full of challenges. So, I have my data stored separately, so I need to do the transform. So the transform is going to be built in the following ways. I'm going to make a temporary matrix, so matrix 44. It needs to be Jeff. I didn't add the namespace, so that means that I have to write this Jeff thing every time I want to use something from Jeff. Matrix 44. I'm going to call it temporary because it is temporary. And that's it. Now we need to empty it or set it to identity because that's just how this works. It's not done by default, which I don't know why, but oh well. You can't have everything in life. So now we have a beautiful base matrix. I said the order, right? So first is the position, rotation, square. But it's the opposite order. No. It starts at 0, 0, so it's fine. This is very difficult right now. If I actually I need to do this on paper. Because I'm not sure if multiplying it is correct. So I'm first rotating and then moving. I know I said it the other way around, but that's how it logically should be, but I can sorry. I can do it manually. No, that won't work. If I rotate the object first and then move it by the desired amount, yeah, that will work. And the order of rotation is going to be X, Y, Z. Mostly we need only Z anyway, but I like to keep that. So them dot set make rotation. I think it's make. Set? No, it's set. Rotation X. I can make an entire rotation, but it's quaternion, and I don't know what that is, so... Yes, and this is going to be radians, okay? So it's going to be deg. Jeff, of course. Jeff. Deg to radians. And the value is going to be transform data dot rotation dot x, and it's a function for some reason. Yeah. Oh, I need to make another one as well. I need to make a second one. So this is going to be temp. And this is going to be out. And I don't have to worry about this one being deleted because it's going to be given out as a copy anyway. Wait, no, I don't have to have that. I can just modify the original. So every time I'm going to do transform, do I have access to it? I mean, game object, I should have access to it. I specifically made the code work the way it has access to it. Transform. Yeah. No. It's a struct. I don't want a struct. Transform underscore. I don't have access to it. Why? Oh, it's a 3D thing, of course. Okay. Goodbye, cruel world. Is this smart? No. Yes, it is, because it's connected to the mesh itself. Yeah. It needs to be 3D. This is actually getting a bit annoying here now, isn't it? I'm gonna put it... No. Put this here first. Get rid of this. Copy it out. Thank you. Put it in .h. Here. Do this. No, don't change the signature. Create a copy somewhere. Whatever. I don't care. Beautiful. Since I'm already on that window, you're gonna put me there and go to. Thank you. I'm there. And now I can copy it from here. This entire function title. Goodbye. And we're gonna put it here. That's good. Build transform, that's fine. And this needs to have an underscore 3D because it's a specific function to this. Good. And this complains because this is not finished. So the transform is now settable. So it's gonna be a bit more annoying, difficult. Because the physics is changing the transform actually. This is complicated. Yeah, because I need to translate from vectors to transforms. I don't know why it has to be this complicated. Transform underscore dot. I think it's a dot. Set identity. Yes, it's going to be identity. That means it starts at 0. That's what we want. Beautiful. This is now a new matrix, temporary matrix. This is also set to identity. I'm going to divide it visually. Temp rotation creates a rotation matrix based on X. Transform. Actually, wait, let me check this. If I have X 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 and 1 1 1. Just so you know, I'm doing it on paper, just seeing how the multiplications work out. And I do zeros everywhere with like ones. Actually, no, that should keep the matrix the same. I'm gonna do some value x, y, and z here. Just the movement of it. No, it should work. So we want to calculate. So this, how does this get calculated? What's important is the bottom lines, not even the middle. That's useless, unnecessary even. You know what? I'm gonna count for it working, even though it might not, but I'm gonna do it. So it's gonna be first rotation in this case, because if it needs to rotate at origin anyway. So usually you would do matrix calculation wise, you would first, if you're rotating at any given point, you would first move the object back to the origin, rotate it there, and move it back to where it was before, which is basically 2 more steps. What I'm doing, the object already starts at origin anyway, so might as well rotate it there and just move it away from that. So I don't need to think about like moving it from some point. Yeah, or rotation is first. It might actually, sorry, it might actually fix my problem. It might actually make that problem even worse. We'll see. At least I know what potential issues might become a thing. So equals transform. Luckily, I don't have to program matrix multiplication, so at least that's good. Temp. And does that. Great. And temp is going to be set to identity again. We'll clear it. So now we've identified a pattern. So at least that's good. So I can at least... It's not good to do this copy-wise. At least I don't think it's the best way. It might be. I don't think it is, but it might be. Now this is y. Y. Creates that. Yeah, this is fine. Just clear it out after every pattern. And Z. Z is the key in rotation because that's what the actual thing uses. Z. Set identity. Yep. So it's going to be done in render. The build transform is going to be done in render. So the final transform is not going to be used at calculations at all. And I think that... Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's actually a soundbite if you've heard that. I'm ready for another stream, but for now we're gonna have that soon. Rotation. So this is no longer going to be a rotation. It's going to be temp dot translation. I'm actually thinking whether the scale at the end will not affect it. We'll see. This is all experimentation. I can't not get translation set. Set translation. Thank you. And it's a vector of 4. We have that ready. It's in the transform data dot position. That's a vector 4. So I don't need to do anything except this. Transform set identity. So it rotates, so these first 3 are rotating at x, y, z respectively. In true fashion you only need x, y, and in real fashion in this case you only need z. But I'm doing all 3. Set translation moves it, and scale is going to be the worst. Temp dot set scale. Scale. Does this build a matrix? It does, I think. It hopefully does. Yeah, it does. And the scale is going to be done the transform data dot scale. Yeah. There's also a beautiful vector of 4. And copy these 2. Yeah, the transform is being built, so void is okay. There, this is not necessary, and I need to put a semicolon there. Yeah, this is the function that builds the matrix for me. Now, I need to fix the rest of them. So I don't need to do these nonsensical multiplications. They're actually very harmful for my project. All I need to really do is rotate no physics, is set the rotation. It will do the job much better here anyway. I was modifying it already here, but that's fine, useless. So yeah, I'm gonna set rotate no physics. So in physics, it's just that. And it's rotate, so it's plus equals. That's fine. Transform equals transform that. Moving, yeah, it's fine. Moving should also not be having transform in it. There's just position. So this, all of this nonsense, goodbye. Yeah, this actually cleans up the entire code so well. This is so dumb. Why was I so stupid? Why did I do it here? And I can easily just have one-line functions. That's also not the best, but yeah, I can just, yeah, I'm not, you know what? It's nice to have it renamed to something else, so it's fine. Scale underscore, and this is only going to be equal sign, and this is going to be scale. Yeah, I'm gonna save. I actually need to commit changes as well at one point to GitHub. Just to tell you all, you don't even realize how difficult it was to set up that music player thingy down in the stream. That took genuine effort of at least 5 separate hours, because it's from YouTube Music, not from like Spotify and all that, and it's in OBS, so there's like 2 scripts running separately on my PC, just downloading and checking every 2 seconds or so for the change of the song. It's very much weird. Update sound is fine. Apply physics. This is the function that I want. Transform data. This body, yeah. Transform data is fine. Transform data. No nonsense of player transform. What is player transform? Set oh, we're doing a mistake here. Yeah, this is wrong. None of this bullshit, please. Literally the only thing I want. Yeah, this fine. This gone. Goodbye, cruel world. Set transform, player transform, goodbye. It's also useless. Yeah, there are supposed to be functions set transform and whatnot. I just like to work with it raw. So I had like transform multiply equals instead of get transform set transform. That's just unnecessary in my opinion. And it doesn't need to be protected is what I'm trying to say. All those programmers will know what I'm talking about when I say protected or like public or private. Rotation Z is fine. No, this is not fine. Literally every matrix stuff should not even touch this function. Apply physics should be simply updating the transform data, and then transform data itself will then be brought into the transform at the end. So vector 4 of translation. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, no, useless. I don't need to set it as a separate thing. I can just do this. There. I don't need to create unnecessary. Almost twice as much. That's twice as much as fixing. That's also not good. It's overfixing it. Overfixing. Yeah, that's the term. I'm just made up. So yeah, rotation. Z only because physics only handles Z. Transform data. Yeah, Z-wise. Physics is not dealing with Z, so just copy that over. Scale no physics. Oh, actually, this might require me of. No, it's fine because I'm directly. This is also an unnecessary line there. Yeah. X, Y, Z, and W is also not being set to anything else than 0, so that's fine. Scale no physics. No, please. Yeah, scale is done. Actually, no, that's unnecessary here at all. The world doesn't really care about that. Yeah. Look at how beautifully it cleans itself up. Move with physics. Yeah, this is the more important one. But frankly, it's done here. No, it's moving with the physics body. Yeah, that's different. Phys body, set transform, yeah. Yeah, that is important function. Because it moves the object around with the physics body included. But it's beautiful how easy this is. Because I don't need to actually make that matrix myself, so it's fine. Rotate with physics. Rotation plus it adds to the rotation. Rotation Z is now 0. Why is it 0? Oh yeah, because it gets calculated, right? So it adds to the rest of the rotations, so it does it later on anyway, but the crucial one, the Z one... Oh, I get it. So we set it, it saves it, so that's fine, to reflect it on the thing, but physics body here, the transform here is the crucial part, because the physics body actually have an error in there. But it's fine because I'm not going to rotate in the other directions except Z. So game-wise it's not going to be found. Logical error, I mean. It's fine, because fixing it will be too bothersome for nothing. Like, I know it's for nothing. So this sets it to Z because Z is being determined by the physics body anyway. And since this is at physics, it just copies the physics rotation. Yep, that's fine. Rotate no physics, and then it does just this. Oh, well, it already does it here, right? So it's fine. This is not necessary anymore. It does it here. Look at how beautiful this is. So now we have a build transform. I'm so happy. This actually has been more than productive. So build transform, a working function. So what I need to do now is I can choose. It can be either before render, or it can be... I love the music, it's so pumped up for this. Like, oh yeah, you figured it out, man. Update, apply physics, handle input. Yeah, this is gonna be dealt with later. Apply physics, that's fine, I think. We're gonna see soon enough how bad or good it is. And the thing is, I'm so stupid because I didn't commit before, so now I made large changes to program. Fuck me, I guess. Let's construct a render. There we go. It draws the mesh. What does update do? Maybe we want to do it after all the updates. No, because for now, the 2D ones don't have these things. It's going to be render objects, but before that it's going to be build. Now the moment of truth. Will this work? Will this work? Because we did significant changes to the code. If it works, I'm committing. Okay, it has loaded the program. Oh, it does work. It's amazing. I'm so... oh my god. Beautiful. This is amazing. I fixed the entire thing. On the first try, no less. Well, second, if I count the other thing. So GitHub. So this is basically, for those of you who don't know, versioning, or like saving versions. I have so many useless files here that I don't need to do, but I'm doing it anyway. Fully functional physics. Yeah, that's the best way. So I'm gonna do details. So it's proper transform for render. That's a keyword. Proper physics and mesh coordination of data. And I'm gonna do other minor. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna call this, thank you, close that. Nintendo 3DS update logs. System menu update history. I think a lot of people might already know where I'm going with this, but I'm still going with this. There we go. Further improvements to overall system stability and minor adjustments made to enhance the user's experience. Yes. And that's also a thing. Right. Because to be fair, it is a system, it's more stable because there's less bloat to deal with, code-wise. The funny thing is, I've already programmed something similar in the building transforms things. It just didn't connect, I guess, before. And now we push it. Basically, committing means it saves it locally on the PC, and pushing just pushes it to online. So I can download this anywhere and have the same version. It's very useful. I also have it backed up. So if someone decides to take a magnet and go all over my computer, it's not going to do anything wrong. I might actually give out this playlist link. It is public. And keep adding to it. Like every time I hear a good music piece from games, when I play them, I just do that. Anyway, now we've done that. So the ball bounces. Maybe the restitution was a bit too high there. I'm not sure whether the number needs to be above 1 or below 1. But we're going to figure it out soon enough. Actually sooner than we think, because physics is being set here. Set up physics, right? Not apply. Set up physics. There we go. Go to definition. Can I get fixture definition? Is fixture def? Create fixture. It creates it. Does the fixture have it stored? Let's do 0. What does that do? 0.0. It needs to be 0.0. Yeah. So 0 means that there is literally almost no force being returned back. Like all of it is being absorbed. We don't want that. It's gonna be a floating thing. I might go with 0.5. But the bounciness of that is going to be affected by the force as well, of the gravity. I'm not sure what I'm going to use. Yeah. A bit higher for a balloon. This is just testing anyway. Oh, I keep forgetting. I'm not showing anything. Yeah. So basically, it was 1. You've seen what it did, right? So I'm going to quickly move my screen. Yeah, see? This is what 0.5 does. So it bounces much less. So basically when it bounces, the force is being absorbed by the other object, and then it bounces much less. The return force is much less. It's, I think, half of what the input is. And then obviously stops because it gets so small that it just stops. That's also real world physics, which I think is. So 0 would naturally be when it just drops and it's like a rock just stops. It doesn't bounce off at all. We want the bounciness there. We don't want 1, because 1 means that it keeps doing it forever, because it returns all of the force. Higher than 1, I think, would give a higher force, so that would be used for springs. I can actually test it out. Let's go with 1.5. This is what I love about computer science and coding. You can keep changing these values. Oh, that's the wrong format. You can keep changing values and basically like a god, you know, creating your world and being like, what if this did this? And if you know where to... Yeah, see? So that will be a spring. So it keeps doing it higher. Yep. So now, see, by experimenting, I've learned how to do springs, physics-wise. So that's good. So we just need to change restitution. Maybe angular damping does the same thing. I'm just using real physics terms here. So we're gonna use 0.8. I think that will be a nice value for like a balloon. For like a nice plump beach ball type of balloon. It needs to be satisfactory, that's all I'm trying to say. The portal music for experimentation as well. See? Yeah, that seems fine. And it keeps dropping. I cannot describe how happy I am with this, because I've basically built the basic mechanic physics-wise. All I need to do is now controls, and I can get to level building and collision responses. But collision-wise, it's easy because that's also handled by the API. Which is to say, I need to like call 2 lines of code. I think I've even interlinked it in a good way. There is a function in game object, the standard game object that is, that does collision response. Yeah, it is here. So whatever I define in the collision response version of the... Ooh, an error here needs to be overridable. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's because here. I have 2 versions. One public, because I might have some stuff that will work for all the game objects and its children, object-wise. So for example, the global updates, for every child, update will work the same, that it'll always call some of these functions, always. But then I might also want to add little things that make each child object different. So in 3D, I might want to call different parts of, like different things that I want to update. And in 2D, I want to do it for different things, like those are 2 separate children objects, right? So then I had made a small one, which is called in the big one, and the small one can be changed in every subclass or in every child, where you define your own code based on the type you're in. But the big one, which is supposed to be done for all of them, still does it, because it basically funnels the calls. And this is something I've learned from experimentation with previous projects I've been working on, to basically have more generalized programs, because you don't want to define too many different objects and copy the same amount of code. It's useless, right? Because you, for example, if a controller is set up, you always want to call handle input on it, regardless of whether it's a 2D or 3D object. If there is a controller set up with that, you want it. So why would I have to copy handle input, call every object in every object, where I can just have it in the main one here, and I don't have to worry about it later on. It's just being done for me. It's basically called abstraction. It builds a lot of bloat, I would say, in a sense that there's too many different functions, whatever. But in the end, it's much easier for you to program later on, especially when you want to just do the... Like, say you come there after 2 or 3 weeks and you don't really remember how the code works. You don't need to remember. You just need to know that it just happens. And when you need to fix it, you know where to go immediately. And it fixes it for everything. Not just for like one thing. So yeah, that's a quick thing. Anyway, the setup object thing, the setup physics part is the problem. Because right now, we did set up the ball properly, and that's fine. But we want this different for every object. Like, I don't want... Some objects, I might want to have only like a little bit of restitution. Some objects, I might actually have a bouncy restitution. So, I need to figure this out. How to do this properly. Actually, let me first see. When we create it is being in physics body, peak definition, can I somehow get this out of it? Yeah. Create fixture, it uses that. Whatever. Get angular velocity, get apply torque, that's a rotational force, that's for rolling. Get inertia, that's just the mass. No, not really, sorry, that's wrong. It's this. Kilograms per meter squared. Rotational inertia. Set mass data, reset mass, get world point, get world vector, get locale, get locale, I love how I pronounce it as if there was an E, get local. Get linear velocity. No, I don't need velocity. Get linear velocity from local point. No. Get linear damping. No. Angular damping. No. Gravity. It's also good to go through this because I at least know what my options are. Yeah, gravity scale will be using a lot because the balloon doesn't go down as quickly. And it's not because of the actual laws of physics. In laws of physics, a feather would fall down to the ground at the same time as a piece of metal if you let them go. In the perfect environment, of course. So they would fall to the ground at the same time. They have different acceleration, so to speak. Well, if the force applied to them is different based on their mass. So the feather would have much lower mass, but the acceleration is still the same. So it goes from zero. Basically, point is, if you let a feather and the piece of metal fall, they fall at the same time in a perfect environment. The reason you think it won't, and in real world it won't happen, is because feather is much lighter and the air particles actually have more power when pushing it up. So it kind of wobbles like a leaf down the way, right? Because the air is being pushed. Think of it like in water. When you try to slap someone in water, the water is physically fighting you. It's the same for the feather with the air. So that's why it doesn't happen. But in physics, well, here in computer science, you have a perfect environment. There is no air, right? I didn't define air. So the one way to get around the balloon, basically the balloon is the same in that, because it's much less dense and it has a much larger area, it falls down slower. It's also being pushed up by the helium if there's any. And if there's no helium, there's just air. And the little latex that's around it just, you know, scrapes around the wind and it's gonna fall down much slower than a piece of metal. We can't really replicate it here. That would be expensive, but I can lie about it by changing the gravity. So it's gonna be much less applied with gravity. So that's why this is useful to know. Angular damping, I think that's there. Set bullet, I'm not using that at all. I don't have any bullets in game. Sleeping allowed. A sleeping body has a very low CPU cost. Oh, so okay, I get it. So if the body, you can disable sleeping of this body. So basically sleeping is just making sure it won't get calculated every frame. Okay, that's optimization. Set enabled. Fixed rotation, no. Fixture list. Fixture list, what is that? Oh, there's multiple fixtures, okay. Create a fixture, and a fixture... Okay, that's good. So it does give back a pointer. So a list of all fixtures attached to its body. We're gonna only have one, naturally, because I didn't define more. This is basically for complex objects where you have like multiple collisions, but this is a simple game, so it doesn't matter. Pointers. Fixture, it returns a fixture. What can I get from the fixture? I can get the body, that's okay, it doesn't matter. Also, they're interlinked. Okay, whatever. Get next. Okay, useless. Get user data, no. Get mass, the density. There we go. We can do it here. It's a bit more complex, but we can do it there. And since it's so good, density is going to be density. That's already a given variable. So I'm going to copy this out. So in my level where I'm defining a player, later this is going to be a separate object. The player itself is going to be an object, so I will not need to do this every time I want to create a player. I'm just testing it out. So, player, you will give me... Can you give me your body? Body. What do you have? Get body. Okay, you can give me your body. That sounds wrong, but I mean it well. We can get... What? List? Get fixture list, I guess. It returns a fixture pointer. Now we know there's only one. So we get set restitution. That's what I want. Set restitution. And now I have direct access to that setting, so I'll set it to 0.8 and we'll test it whether it actually works. It's no longer here. That's good. Please work. Will you work? Yeah, it does. And it rolls. Beautiful. This is perfect. Okay, I almost thought something crashed. Save this. Save it immediately. Okay, so I can directly change the settings in the code without doing it before knowing. Nice. Very nice. You know what? Maybe in the optimization stage of the code, I'll be actually cleaning these magic numbers up because I do hate them. Whenever I look at it, I know it's unprofessional and I should not do it. I hate it. Anyway, beautiful. So now I have the basic stuff set up. I can also change the gravity this way. So the ball's gravity is going to be much less. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to actually create that player object. So the level scene, now I'm trying to build a level, and then I'll build the menu and all that. I'm always trying, at least now I'm trying to build like the functional part of the game first. This is, by the way, well, not the first day I'm working on it, but it's the first day where I'm connecting all the stuff we learned and I've built separately into the big project. So I'm happy with how fast I'm actually going with this. I was afraid this is going to take much longer. And not going badly. Ooh, by the way, a quick note, the music we're hearing now is from Insane in the Rain Music. Terrible name for a channel, I'm sorry. You will probably never see this, but I'm so sorry for that. However, and this is a very important however, he does amazing, not remixes really, he does rearrangements of famous music, and he had this beautiful album called Sinnovation. He basically celebrated Sinnoh before it was cool, and he's basically a jazz player. He plays so many instruments, I don't get it, he's just so good. And the music now, it's obviously Galactic Eterna Building, which is from Diamond, Pearl, Platinum Pokemon games. He made it so beautiful. I was genuinely disappointed when I heard the reveal for the, when the reveal for Diamond Pearl remakes came out, and I heard that generic orchestrated soundtrack, which is fine, it does its job well, and it's probably going to be beautiful, especially some songs. Sinnoh's soundtrack is just beautiful. But this guy genuinely raised my standards for that remake's music so high. I was so disappointed. I genuinely wished there was this secret, beautiful secret in my heart when I was like, oh my god, I want that to be the case. I wanted the music in the remake to be his. Because he did the entire, he did most of the soundtrack of the Sinnoh, which is the entire album. It's paid for, if you want to have it downloaded and stuff, it's like $30, right? I'm currently streaming it from YouTube Music because he did upload the videos on YouTube. But I can't just stop gushing about how beautiful it is. This is literally my go-to Sinnoh music. This is just the best. And there's different styles. There's classical, there's pure jazz. Now, there's a bit of rock, techno, just all. And they all work so well. Some better than others, of course. Some are better than the others, but that's personal taste. But I just can't stop gushing. Anyway, yeah, that's the guy. I really recommend his channel. He does other games as well, but this thing was a delight because Sinnoh is my favorite of all of the Pokemon games. Platinum being my first Pokemon game. I actually didn't finish it first, but it's the first one. And just this guy. Anyway, Insane in the Rain Music, the Innovation album, highly recommended. Beautiful. Back to work. I just can't even concentrate, it's so beautiful. Anyway, no, stop. I need to work. So now we're playing, player object. So add a class. We're going to be derived from game object underscore 3D. And class name is going to be player Bobbi, because that's the name of the main character. Yeah, it's gonna be very similar design wise to that. I even have music I'm not doing, sadly. I could do it, but I just don't have the time to make the soundtrack for this game. But And we're just going to use a not well-known game called Pekakana, which is from like a Polish developer from like an olden days of Windows 95 to Windows XP. And I cannot stop. It's beautiful, the soundtrack, that as well. I'm very moved by music in games. The amount of emotion they can have is just unbelievable. Okay, so what are we actually making different here? We're adding integer of lives. Not like lives, but hits, I guess. I'm not gonna have lives. Hits. Yeah. Hits is right. And the default is going to be 2. I'll change it later. For now, it's 2. And since it's an integer, it's going to be easily manipulated. I'm going to create a public section of this class. I'm going to scroll down so it's easier to see. Sorry. Oh, I have drinks. I have to drink. Remember, drink. Not alcohol, of course. I have so many things to talk about while building this soundtrack. This also is one of the best fan games ever made, and it's pure inspiration to me about how fan games can actually be good, even better than the originals. Sonic franchise proves this many times actually, but in this particular case, it's actually beautiful. Maybe later, if this actually gets popular enough, I might do music discussion, just listening to some jams. I have so many great ideas I want to do with streams. I've even gotten like the Zelda books, like those, I don't know whether you know, it's the Dark Horse series. I have the art one and the Hyrule Historia, which is like about the story. But the art one I think would be very fun to like list through on stream and just talk and discuss. But I'm saving that for when this becomes more popular. I don't want to just blow it off. Now music discussion on the other hand, that can be done on per album basis, like, you know, listening to all. I'm not sure how copyright works with that, but I think that could be fun. Naturally the YouTube videos as well. I'm sorry, I'm just drinking, so that's why there's no action happening in the code. I'm having a break after 5 seconds of work after break, essentially. It is 2 AM at midnight, so it doesn't really matter. I'm tired, kind of. Okay. So public, the constructor for this class, player Bobbi. I'm sure this is not the proper naming convention, but I just love the class name Player Bobbi. That's the name of the blue. Player Bobbi, what will you take in? What does game object require? It requires a platform, so obviously you will need a platform pointer. I'm not even sure what that does, I just know that I should parse it because some function call require it. I'm just parsing it from the classes above and above. Yeah, I will need to add a destructor to the level to get rid of every new... You know what, I think that should be done first because I will forget, and that's actually a very important thing to do. Because when level closes and gets deleted, the game will continue working, so theoretically you could make infinite amount of levels, and that would basically create a memory leak larger than the larger than the economic losses from the stuck boat in the Suez Canal. Yeah, that was an attempt at a joke here. There's more where that came from, honestly. Level 1 destructor. So we're creating a B2 world to naturally delete this engine. That needs to be deleted. Bye-bye. I cannot delete everything though, because some things I'm not creating here. I think the only new thing here is the physics engine here. In this particular subclass. In the state, I'm creating a few things, but I'm tried already building that here, so I'm deleting it. Camera. Camera is being created here. It's also... No, new camera here. Oh, but sorry, it's taken care of here. See, sometimes I'm so forward thinking that I just don't realize it. That's not a compliment, by the way, that's just me being dumb. Yeah, I attempted to play a sound, but the music is just too loud. Because it's too good. Yeah, this soundtrack... I probably... It's a very fun building playlist like this. I only have one. It's set to shuffle, because I think it's good to have just different atmospheres. I try to go for more chill songs. There's some more energetic ones, but I think that should not be that much of a problem. Physics engine, step, frame time, that's fine. Yeah, delete it. No, that's taken care of. Save. I love the fact that it's literally just there. I needed to do it anyway that way, but still, just funny. Oh yeah, player. Player Bobbi. Platform. It needs a platform. It needs an input manager. That is a crucial thing, actually, that it needs. But we're going slowly. Primitive builder. Ooh. I actually need to see the game object for this. Yeah, it's gonna have a model, but it's just gonna be a sphere. I'm not sure what the basic sphere that the primitive builder there does with UVs. Would be cool to know, but I'm not gonna risk it. I'm just gonna make one in Blender. Blender is, by the way, an amazing 3D program, if you don't know. Free because it's open source, and it has it has all, if not more, features than Maya and 3ds Max. And since it's community driven, there's so many tutorials for it. Ubisoft actually uses it. Not that I like Ubisoft, but I like free things. I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for a program I'm using for education and in the future for work. If I'm ever making a game development studio, I'm genuinely just using open source things. Well, except Photoshop, that one is required. Where's the constructor here? Here it is. Mesh. Now, we're gonna use this instead. We're gonna be calling that. Let's do this. Basically, this is gonna be the file asset name to the player mesh. I'm not gonna allow for basic player. Maybe actually I should for now. Ooh, that's a difficult choice to make. For now, I'm gonna do that. Terrible. Oh no, terrible. That's even worse. Copy, not cut. We're gonna replace this. And I'm gonna add to my note, change the mesh to const char for file asset instead of a primitive. Yep. It's my writing, I'll know it's me. Jeff Mesh. Yeah, I need to do that as well, like the list of classes that I'm using. I think Mesh is one of the ones that I'm not defining. So player Bobbi, that's fine. Actually, it needs to be there. So namespace Jeff. Not Jeff. It's going to be class mesh. What I'm doing now, essentially, for those of you who don't know, is creating a dummy class. Which is to say, I'm telling the program there will be a class called mesh later on. I promise you that. I'm not defining it now, and the reasons why I'm not doing it is for two. one, the entire code that I'm working with, the API itself does it this way for some reason. And two, if the mesh actually needed player Bobbi for some reason included in it, not that it does, but if it actually needed it, it's not possible to do it without doing something called a circular dependency, which is to say when one is dependent on the other, and the other is also dependent on the first one, that's a problem. Because you can't define one without the definition of the other, and vice versa. You can get around it by doing this. So basically you promise here, you're breaking that loop essentially by saying, first define this, I promise you there'll be this later on, first define it, it defines it, then you define the other one, this already being defined, it'll be like, okay, I can define it now, and then much later in the code, in the CPP file, which is basically the further definition, you'll be like, okay, this is where you find it. So it's basically evading circular dependency, something I did not know how to do before, which is something I actually learned something, you know, wow, people actually learn new things at university, right? What a crazy world we live in. I'm not sure whether this is how namespaces are done, because this is not disappearing. Oh yeah, this is a, of course, this needs to be a Jeff platform thing. And this is .h file is much better for this. Actually, I don't want the CPP. CPP is annoying for definitions. There we go. So only mesh instance. Oh, okay. Actually, okay. That's so no. That should be fine. I'm inheriting. Play Bobbi is inheriting from GameObject3D, which is inheriting from this. Why is it? Oh, it's not complaining anymore. Oh, it was. Oh, okay, I get it. This is not necessary now. Goodbye. Not needed. This is also predefined. I don't really like this not being a pointer, but a reference instead. I don't know why, but I personally like pointers more. Pointers are basically address where something is stored in memory, and the reference is the object itself with the address as well. It's just not clear in the code which is which when you use references. It is extremely clear in the code when you use pointers, because and those are actually called raw pointers. Now there's a problem with them, which is basically the stuff that you have to handle memory yourself if you use pointers. If you use smart pointers, which are basically a step in between, I guess, it is basically being dealt with for you. But it's much more inconvenient for me to define smart pointer, because you have to have like this entire line of, oh, this is a smart pointer, and now these weird arrows, and you have to like press different characters and all that. For standard pointers, you just need to use a star. That's it. Just use a star, and it's like, oh, a pointer. For smart pointer characters, for references, half the time in the code, I don't even know whether something is a reference or not. I had so much trouble with this platform thing because it's done as a reference. And there are some points in the code where I'm like, is this a reference? Is this a new object? What is this? Is this the same as the other platform I've seen? With pointers, it's clear. It's like, oh, this is a pointer, and you just need to basically easily trace where the origin of that pointer is, where you set the value to it. And there's also, with the raw pointers, you can do something called raw pointers, pointers to pointers, which essentially means that you can change data in another class, which is not even directly related from another class, without a obnoxious amount of overhead. Sorry, coding complaints about how bad practices are actually good practices. Stick around for future streams. We might actually discuss why jump and label are the best coding concepts ever, and should be used today. I'm just shit talking. Well, kind of. We'll be doing this. Yeah, after I do the base bare bones scene assets, yep. Yeah, that will be needed. I'm actually not sure, but I think this is just for future potential. I created that. What this essentially says is that if you create a new class, you have to give it some sort of a data about these these 1, 2, and 3, This fourth one works in a different way. It's like, if you don't give anything there, it's like, fine, do it null. If there's something there before that, fuck you. Just fuck you. Yeah, if there's something before, if there's something, it'll be that. That's something that you give it. And if there's nothing given for it, it'll be, okay, it's null. It's basically creating overloading functions. It's not really overloading, which is another concept that if you don't know, you have to study, but it's just easy to do it this way, for me at least, because I don't have to create a shit ton of bullshit for nothing. Anyway, player Bobbi. Platform is not being set. Mesh will be determined at one point. So I will actually, instead of using this, I might actually give it directly the value that it wants. For now, so yeah, so that's why we're actually creating it. We want a separate handle input actually. Handle input function. Handle controller input actually. So we'll, ooh, okay. Am I creating a player somewhere else? No, player is being created in initializing, which is at loading stage. So I can create stuff in the constructor. That's very nice. Just so you know, I was thinking, because loading in games, I don't want the game to freeze at random points. So I'm trying to have all the loading and creating done at one point in the game where it's expected during a load screen. So I was thinking, where exactly should I create the loading of the meshes and all that? And I know that this Bobbi will never be created, like created outside of a loading zone anyway, so I can do it anywhere here. Because already this Bobbi is already, by the entire object of Bobbi is being created there. I don't need to discern what part of Bobbi needs to be created by. If you didn't understand, there's two possibilities. I'm either shit at explaining, or I'm sorry to say you have to learn more. First things first. We're gonna create an actual definition of this. I think there's like 3 hours worth of music in the playlist now. Well, that's on YouTube. I'm not sure actually what that is. Game object 3D. What this does, what I'm doing now, is essentially it calls the constructor function of its parent, which is necessary because I'm not gonna define this individually, because I already have another function that does it for me. So I'm just gonna throw it all there, so it handles it there. This is what I meant by I don't need to know what this does anymore, because I'm just gonna throw stuff there and I know it works, because I mean I've tested it. I know it works, I'm just like throw it there, it'll do it. Mesh. And I'm gonna then, like, this needs to get, there's naming conventions here. There's so many. Anyway, yeah, the mesh I'm gonna then replace with an actual line here. So this will get completely gone, and I'm just gonna put here a line of code. That sufficiently, that's what I want. Renderer line. Scene assets. I mean, why not? Yes. Scene assets. So that needs it. Yeah, there's a double thing here. That is not necessary. On top of that, we will already. Oi, oi, oi. There's an issue. Well, the game object itself might actually not require it. Player will require an input, and it'll be here because it needs to be there. There's gonna be Jeff input manager, and it's going to be input there. Yeah, basically, oh, it needs to also be a pointer, because we don't want to copy it, we want the actual thing. So basically, I'm not going to push that input information further, I'm just going to use it to create the controls, to set up the controller in the constructor here. Well, that's going to get rid of any potential confusion further down the true hierarchy of classes. We set up keyboard input. the thing is, if I do controller input, you know what, no, I'm gonna use control, because this game kind of can work with Vita. This entire API is built for Vita. We're supposed to kind of work with that, but oh well, life is full of challenges. I'm not doing it for Vita input. Oh wait, no, this is a problem. Error here. There. Goodbye. Yeah, it's supposed to, yeah, it's complaining about it, and I thought I fixed it, but I didn't. Look at me. Renderer. There. Fixed. Setup controller input is now being set up. So controller is now set up. See, that's what I'm talking about. Look, if you go into the controller, big definition, it actually does it here. It creates a new controls object, which has all of the controls. And that essentially takes away. I don't have to remember how to connect a controller to this monstrosity of a game program, because I already did it once, it worked, so now I'm just calling a simple one line of code set up controller input. I'm just going to put the pointer there, it needs that for stuff, and it passes it on until it needs it. Done. And like, see, this is the beauty of it. I can just connect keyboard and touch input. Same with actually handling that. So I can just create a handle input, not actually create, I will create. So going to void handle controller input. I actually specified controller input override. So everything else can stay the same. The main functions can stay the same. The only thing I really need to change is how it responds to the controller. And that's done with this. And because of that, I can actually even write final, which would stop it from being an overridable function. Not that it is necessary to do it. It's for keeping in track, I guess. The point is, small changes, I don't need to handle, I don't even need to remember the entire code anymore. And this is a very small game right now, right? There's only like a few classes. But imagine having like a cyberpunk of a game where it's like maybe even hundreds of classes of separate nonsense that you need to keep in mind. Like every enemy has its own class because of its behavior trees and all. It's just so complex. You only want to be able, you want to reuse as much code as possible. It's about being smart, not about being, not about being like the other thing. Handle controller input. Yeah, it's fine. It does need float DT. Float DT is essentially the frequency, is the time in seconds, or no, sorry, in milliseconds. It doesn't matter in which unit. It's the time in between frames. It's basically the inverse of frames per second. So if we were to do 1 over FPS, you get that. And then if you do 1 over DT, you get FPS. For a computer, it's much easier to calculate DT and then recalculate it into FPS, because it just has the system clock that it uses. Anyway, yeah. Handle controller input. So I actually think I did even the unthinkable. Fizzbody. Yeah, it's Fizzbody. So controller. Controls is a class. Oof. Is it this? No. Yeah, I need to go to the basic game object. Look at me, all of that saving, and I still don't remember anything. It is actually making me dumber. Oof. Controller input, that's how I called it. Okay. If controller input. So basically controller input holds the stuff, data for the controller, which is also done by me in previous, like we used to do it in actually university labs. So I basically collected all of the info that is needed to get the information about input to controller input class. Controls class. And now I've even made functions, so I essentially know easily, and I can also rename them, which I probably will, all of the buttons here. Usually would have to do like bit shifting operation, which is like bits and all that, but instead I'm just using this. So what are we gonna, I'm gonna look at a controller. I don't have an official PlayStation controller connected to my PC, I do have this fake Xbox controller. I don't even remember what button is what on it, but, and this is an important button. How do I want the game to control? I know the angle. I know what the buttons will do. Ooh, I might actually use the triggers for fan. That might be more entertaining. Like, if I think of a fan... Ooh, that's sad, because if currently the API does not support it, but if the... if I had a way of getting the analog data from this controller that I have now, I could basically set it up so that... Depends on how much you press the back button. I'm not sure how they're called. Triggers? I think they're triggers. Depends on how hard you press the triggers, that's how fast the fan will spin to move the ball away, so you could have that extra degree of control there. And that would be actually very fun. Sadly, this doesn't not support it, but it would be good. Maybe in the future, if I were to remake this game or something, I'm not sure what, I will add that. I still think the trigger is the good response, because it just feels satisfying pressing the trigger. Sorry that you have to hear me this way. This is literally just my thought process right now of figuring out how to have the controls here. Yeah, this is not very visually stimulating as for a stream, because you really only see code. But I promise you that since this is a month project, right? I will get more visual later on, especially when I'm building levels and testing the game out. For now, this is literally just setting up the world rules, so I actually have a way to test it. But after the controller is done, I will move on to probably tidying up the code. I might actually not even do the entire stream of that. I will not do that. Instead, it might be easier to just do that. Do that on an alone time tomorrow or sometimes, and then just easily do that. And easily continue with actual fun stuff of like building the levels and such. I still don't know whether I'm building the levels in... See, this is the tangential mind that I have right now. It's like 2:41. Portal soundtrack does not help with me thinking. Actually, do I have time tomorrow? No, I do not have time. I have another piece of work to work on. And also I might want to play some Monster Hunter tomorrow, because I haven't played it for like 4 days. I'm still addicted to it, don't get me wrong, but I still want to play it. Yeah, I'll probably play Monster Hunter tomorrow. We'll see. This streaming is just a good excuse as to how to be productive or how to do that. A button... No, it's the trigger. I've decided it's the trigger. This is right, so we're gonna use the right because nice controller. So it's R. Oh no, there we go. Held, pressed, and released. I think held is what we want. Is held? If it is held. For now, we're gonna do a simple test, so it's just gonna apply force in a simple direction. But why am I doing that to myself? I might actually build that vector now. It's easy. First and foremost, I'm gonna create a B2 vec2. Thank you. I'm gonna be wind for now. I might decide to rename it later. Wind equals, not equals, we're gonna be, actually no, equals B2 vec2, fuck you, 0, 0. That is to say, no direction whatsoever. And why are you complaining? Incomplete type is not allowed. Oh, it is incomplete because I didn't define it, right? So I need to include, what do we need to include here? B2 world. I'm actually not sure. Does it not include it here? Oh no, it doesn't. Ooh, that's... Ooh. I'm just gonna include a world then. Game object. There we go. What do we need to include here? Yeah, box HD. Just the entirety of it. Defeats the entire purpose of having a nice clean code, but who gives a shit, right? So this include basically copies the code, so that's why it's not good to have a lot of it, but fuck you, I guess. I will have as much useless code as I want. So B2 veg wind, whatever. This is also from the Insane in the Rain music. You can hear the, you can even see the album cover, kind of, I guess. I'll be soon. Don't worry. This is not going to be like 5-hour long stream of just looking at code and listening to music and me ramble on. No, this is going to be ending in like 15 minutes or so. I'm just trying to build the controller first. Wind is going to be that. So we have wind defined. Wind is going to be toward... Okay, so it's going to be finalized, like direction. It's not going to be needing any further mathematical operations. So fizz body of the player itself. So we have access to it, so that's good. Apply force. Force is once. Yeah, it's gonna happen every frame anyway, right? So apply force. What do you want? Wake. So I just want force. Point, it doesn't matter. Can I have just a force? Wind. Does this work? Okay, let's see what you offer. Force, apply force. Apply force to center. Okay, you can just set that. Bull wake. I guess? I'm not really sure anymore. You wanna go play a Bobbi CPP here? Apply force to center. And I think we need a true here, because it needs to wake. I'm not sure. We'll see soon enough. But this applies force. The wind is 0-0, so obviously. But before that happens, we will be reading the controller's position, left stick's position to be specifically more precise here. So, this will be very finicky, but I don't care. Controller inputs. Input, what do you offer me? Controls, no. These are buttons, presses, select square, pressed, held, whatnot. I want the analogs. Where's the analogs? Is that within the controls itself? Or do I have to go deeper? Is deep how to press? Controls. Let's see what this offers. Analog. Oh my god. This is so annoying. I have to go... Big definition, please. How do we call... These are all the functions there. See, like you have to do weird bit shifting there. Controller. Controls is the controller. Controller is the input, blah, blah, blah. Sony control. It returns controls. It doesn't really need... How was the... Oh. It's in the game object. I literally commented it out. Oh, it is controls. Okay, it does need controls. Maybe I'll build... well, won't. Doesn't matter anymore. I'm doing it this way. Controls. See, this gives me a more exact way of returning buttons. I could do it manually. Just I can actually check this way for multiple presses with a simpler 1 call instead of 5 calls for that, but it doesn't matter. So left stick X and Y. So we'll be using that. Force. Actually, I'm gonna have a force multiplier. It's gonna be a float. force multiplier. And I'm already not for. Oh my god, I'm already. See how quickly I was able to move away from the established. Oh. Actually, no, just that class. Okay, fine. I was afraid that I was moving away. Force multiplier. For now, this will be changeable, but for now. Actually, why am I doing it here? This can be a separate variable. And yeah, I will need at least one more model for that. So I will probably, this will contain the player, the game object as well, and just move that around. And just add a rotation every time. Yeah, that's the way I'm doing this. The child. The translations are going to be a bit of a problem there, but we'll fix it soon enough. Yeah, the offset. We'll need to figure out the offset. And that's the visualization of the fan. That's not necessary now. Float, force, multiplier. And we're going to give it to, let's say, 9.8 at least, so... Force, if it's impulse, it keeps adding, right? But if it's a force, it's set. So let's go with 5, and we'll see how that affects it. 5.0, of course, F. This is just me shooting in the ballpark. Left stick, so this doesn't need to be defined at all because it's already defined. Yeah, this can be 0, so I can call it every frame without any worry. So wind dot, it needs to also be the inverse. So it needs to be multiplied by -1 as well, somewhere there. I'll do that soon. Wind dot x. But I need to use set x. Set x, I think, yeah. No, I can just do x equals control input. Yeah, that's gonna be where it's done. Multiplied. Sorry, this needs a function call, so this needs a bracket there. Multiplied by -1, because if the input, we're basically choosing the position, so the force is gonna be shooting other way. Multiplied with force multiplier. That's for x. And y is gonna be as easy as this, honestly. See, this is basically the entire input. That's why I said I want to do it tonight, because it's literally just this. Now the annoying part is going to be the menus, but for now it's fine. Actually, no, it's not going to be that annoying. It's touch-based or control-based. Maybe 2 states of separate, like, selected and whatnot, but it's fine. B2vec gives the vector, creates the vector, it resets it every frame, so that's fine. It recalculates every frame, that's fine. That's an easy calculation based on this. And if R2 held, it applies force. It will not apply force. It is not held. Yeah. Let's see if this works. Oh, I didn't define it. Actually, didn't put it in the game, but platform primitive builder. So we'll be using that soon enough. But level. So instead of it being a game object, we're gonna have a player class. Player. Bobbi, of course. That's fine. I'm gonna promise you. No, it already does from state, right? State. What does state include? Does state include it? Yeah, it does include it, so I'm gonna include it here. I made state, of course it does. I like to usually include stuff in .h if it's okay, and only if I need the circular dependency. That's why I don't do it in .h, but the API didn't do that, so... Layer... They also named classes with small cap, like small case, which I don't like. I like to, like these files, I usually like to call them the same as the class name. Just more clear as to what's what. B2 world is player Bobbi. Pointer, because it's going to be... It could be created... No, because I don't have the other data, so it cannot be created there. It's going to be the player. But before I write the word, leave it as P. I'm going to change these. All of the players are going to be changed to player_test. Review. Now that changes it everywhere. Oh, wait. I actually might want to have this one window show up. View. I'm using this for something else now, so don't worry about that. Thank you. Okay, that's fine. Stream is working beautifully, which I'm very surprised. And the CPU usage isn't that high either. This is a very old machine that I'm using, so that's why I'm surprised. And this one is going to be called player instead. Beautiful. So now, player is being created, whatnot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. It can get the body. Fine. Player equals new player Bobbi. And now we're going to be giving it stuff it wants. So it obviously wants the platform. I think I have it as a pointer in the States. Yeah, in the States I put it as a pointer because I like the pointers more. I've already explained it before, so I'm not going to repeat myself. I think everyone's very thankful for that, actually. I mean, me at least. Yep, that's there, and renderer, I think. Wait, no. Mesh is there. It also wants renderer. There we go. No, that's not correct. 3D. Ooh, fancy. Renderer underscore 3D. It also wants input. Oof. Well, no. Fine. We do have input. We do have input in this. I required it, right? I think I asked for render. Oh, it's underscore at the end. Underscore, please. Platform. What don't you like about platform? Oh, misspelling it. That's what you don't like. Input is there. Input is necessary. And scene assets, no matter. So input's done. There. So we've created that. Layer. Not equals. It's gonna be setting up stuff now. So player test setup physics. Now we're repeating this line essentially. It's fine. There we go. Density of 0.8. It doesn't matter that much, honestly. I might actually set it to 1, just because I want to see what that does. The player position, we're doing the same there as well. Yeah, a lot of stuff I'm essentially copying. I'm not sure why I was so worried about, like, just rewriting the word player there, but oh well. And set restitution, that one's important, and that one will require further... No! It won't. Oh, beautiful. And so no longer necessary. This to this, no longer necessary. Anything that's in green, for those who don't know programming, just means that it gets ignored. It's basically commenting, but just getting an ignore. Player, new Bobbi, fine. Now, not player test, we actually want to add the player itself into this. Add scene object, that's fine. What I'm going to do now is actually connect my test controller, and it should work because the input never gave me that much trouble, right? So I hope this precedence will keep happening. Okay. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay. We get to transform. What does it look like? Just so you know, it got stuck. Call stack? What don't you like? Update? Update, fine. Physics engine is fine. Camera is... Oh yeah, player test is not fine. It's players transforms you want. See, tiny issues like this. Just beautiful. Allow me to change it, please. Why is this happening to me? Oh, oh my god. The thing is, my laptop has a very small amount of USB ports, right? So I basically disconnected my keyboard that I have in front of me for my controller, and I was worried as to why the keyboard itself was not functional. Wait. You know what? I'm gonna set the restitution to 0 because it keeps bouncing off the screen. Sorry, you didn't see anything. Just so you know, the failed run is this. Oh yeah, see? I'm kind of moving it. It's not enough force to lift it. But if I move it this way, see? It keeps moving. So I can actually add force to it, so that's beautiful. So the thing is, I just need more force. Or weaker gravity, one of the two. Probably weaker gravity. We can't see it directly, but it keeps rolling the ball as well, I think. Yeah, the FPS is around 60. I would guess that this game is not very difficult. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna lower the gravity for now to see, and that'll be the end of the night, if that actually works. So I think it's done here. Right here. Oh, again, the keyboard thing. No. Right here. I think it's get body. I do think I need to get... Get... body. It's actually very easy to deal with forces because in 2D programming, without physics, you would have to program all the actions yourself, like move 2 pixels. You would basically program the entire physics engine yourself. Having it done for me with simple calls of add force in this direction is actually very easy for me now. Like, this is beautifully easy to program. Like, the input you've seen, that's only a few lines. It took not that much time. It's very nice. Like, it makes my job very easy. Player get body. I think this is enough. Set gravity, was it? Set transform. No, I do need to get the fixture. Get fixture. Fixtures list. I almost said Schindler's List, but I don't think that's allowed. Set. Not restitution. Gravity. Where was it? Set. I think it was even here. Gravity. Yeah, here. Set gravity scale. It's a float. Beautiful. Yeah, this is a little trick I'm using because sometimes it doesn't show me that little hover, like, you know, this hover here, and it tells me what value to give it. So if you just do this, it'll automatically show everything that's inside, if there needs to be something inside. Scale, let's go 0.5, I think. That should be enough. Sufficient. There we go. Yeah, and this is setting up the player itself, so that should be fine enough. Sorry. Yeah. It's still not enough, I think. I can't tell if the ball is rotating or not. I think we just need to add a texture to it to know, for sure. I'm just happy this actually works. So the fan is going to be probably a 2D widget. I'm not sure yet. Since the ball is always the center of the screen, I think that's gonna be the way it's done. I'm sorry, I was close to the microphone. No, it's not working. Yeah, the gravity is a bit too strong. I guess 0.5 is not too enough. We're gonna have 0.2. Oh. 0.2, please. And F at the end, because it's float. After I'm done with this, I'm doing the commit, and I'm doing you all good night. It's still not powerful enough. It's trying so hard. I'm gonna add more force to it, I guess. I just think it's a bit too much, that's all. Like, the gravity is too strong. Maybe instead I should be adding impulses. Like, I can move it around at least, so that's positive, net positive of tonight. Set position, set up physics, set scale. What is the restitution? No, not restitution. What was it? Mass is 1. That's not... Oh, wait, no. Just lower the mass, dumbass. Doesn't matter. The mass is actually going to make the forces that much stronger. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Oh, wait. Yeah, it went into oblivion. It's a bit too strong now. Let's try 1 again. But I think the controls are wrong. Funnily enough. They're reversed. For some reason. Oh my god, yes. Look. Yes. This is actually, oh my god, yes. So the controls are at fault here. The multiplier for the force, I'm gonna make that a bit higher. I think this is a bit too low. It's gonna be 0.4. And the controller, which is game object controls. No, wrong. Play Bobbi. That's where it's at. For some reason, maybe this is not supposed to be there. Sure, honestly, and I don't like it. You know what? Who am I to care? I'm literally fixing stuff by only deleting a value without knowing what's happening is pretty much my coding style. Yes. Yeah, if I make the... I have to play with the numbers there. It's a bit too heavy now, but yeah. It cannot fall too much, because if it falls too much, yeah. Yep. So now the camera is the issue, and the level isn't built. So I have a choice. I can either... Camera fix is very easy to do, honestly. I can either build a collisive level, so I can add another box there. That's gonna be like death, or something. But yeah, at least the physics work. And it bounces off the wall, maybe a bit too much. Yeah, it's bumpy, because the ball is really bumpy. It only has like 8 sides. Maybe I might even increase the code limit for that. Oh well. That's at least done. So yeah, I would call tonight very productive. I have a very basic working prototype of this game. So the commit. What do I type? Alpha version working. Oh my god, yeah, I'm disabling the controller. When you type and then you don't type. Alpha version working. Yeah, working physics. Working controls. Controller. Controls. Yeah, I'll probably add touch controls later. They'll not be that difficult, honestly. You've seen how easy it is to implement a controller for me in this case, so that's not going to be that difficult. Working controller controls. Implement. Oh yeah, we implemented a player class. Child of game objects. And of course, my favorite. There we go. Commit. Yeah, this is what I would. This would be probably a very weak prototype, but it makes me so happy. With this engine, I'm able to make games like this very easily and very quickly. If I'll be able to build this into an executable, I can actually have my own engine with like the API. In one day, I literally managed to make the physics and everything's work. Like graphics and all that is easy. The level building is going to take time, and commenting and all of that. The nonsense on top, but well. Okay, it switched. Yeah, the picture switch made the computer that I'm using be like, oh wait, what's this? So it lowered by 6 frames actually. Terrible even. But I'm not sad. I'm actually happy. No local changes. Beautiful. So yeah. So that would be it for the hacking for tonight. I hope that for those who never had any idea and will start watching the stream, this is how I do game development, and this type of work is what a game dev student does. For those of you who know what this is and think I'm terrible at coding, thank you. And for those who actually learned something new, I'm happy I helped. I really don't enjoy coding as much. Like, it's fine, but I never look at it as like, oh yeah, I get to code. I'm more about the design itself, really. But I think coding is important, especially if you want to actually make the games. With that being said, gute Nacht, as Germans would say. I'm not German, but I just like saying different languages. Sayonara for all the Japanese people. And yeah, I do think that this is about the time to end it. Honestly, this is the longest stream I've done. There's going to be probably more like these. I promise that this was the most... Actually, no, I don't promise that. There's going to be more fun stuff later on when I'll be modeling and all that. I'll probably... I'm not sure whether for modeling I will not switch the overlay for something else. I love doing design stuff, just like nonsense like that. Like even this hacking matrix thing. This took me like 2 hours. And you could consider a waste of time, but I loved it. Programming, it's fun, it's fine. You can do a lot of stuff with it, but I never actively look into it. Anyway, good night.